rent prices are weighing on Canadians. A new report by CPA Canada indicates that 1 in 3 Canadians say saving for a down payment is the biggest barrier keeping them out of the housing market. We're joined by David-Alexandre Brassard, chief economist at CPA Canada. Thanks very much for joining us. Start off with that finding, would you? Assembling the down payment is a major barrier.
Yeah, it's as you said, 1/3 of Canadians are citing it as the main barrier. And essentially, when we look at different provinces, the more expensive the housing market is, the more down payment comes as the biggest challenges. So without surprise, British Columbia and Ontario, down payment requirements are an issue for 35 to 40% of people. The second issue that comes up is, of course, the cost of the mortgages. But to me, the down payment is a bit more problematic because it's tied to intergenerational inequality. We know that parental help, especially in expensive markets, can bring a bit of help in amassing the down payment. And if you're coming from a poorer background, that parental help will not be there. So it speaks to the issue that we have with housing ownership.
The Economist magazine has condemned the astronomical cost of housing in a lot of countries around the world. And you say it's like sucking the oxygen out of the room. The rising housing costs leave little for consumers to spend on other goods and support the economy.
Well, yes, I've been saying that for a few years among many economists. Even in 2019, before the pandemic boom of prices, we already saw that more and more wealth and more spending was going into housing. For example, if you look at the percentage of wealth that's captured by your real estate or your personal residence, that number around across Canada was 36%. It's closer to 50% in expensive housing market. And as Canadians chase affordable markets, they become unaffordable. That's what we're seeing right now. Because essentially, if you look at housing prices right now, there's not one picture for Canada. Ontario's Toronto is doing a bit not good. The prices are flat for different type of product or even decreasing for condos. But if you look out west in certain city or out east, there's still places where prices are increasing. So there's a chase for affordability. And again, as we put more and more money into real estate, that's money that we're not putting elsewhere. There's a lot of liquidity that gets tied up into real estate. The phrase that I always use is everyone's a real estate investor, yet not many people invest in businesses where it's usually the impact is more productive for the economy.
Yeah, because a house does nothing, does it? It just sits there. I know there's a certain amount of economic activity in building housing, but it's sort of dead money in that sense.
Well, as you said, if you put a large amount of your paycheck into your house and a large amount of your savings into your house, you're not putting it in the Canadian stock market. You're not investing it elsewhere. So again, yeah, there's liquidity that gets tied up into the house that we would need in order to invest more. And if you look at, not to bore the audience with the technical details, but the investments that we made into everything that's non-residential construction, so non-residential construction, that's machinery and equipment and intellectual property product, it's areas that we've been struggling to keep up with the US, for example.
And of course, we have all the politicians playing lip service to actually increasing the housing supply, but then they run up against local governments. Even in Ontario, Doug Ford has not been, our Premier, has not been entirely supportive of multi-storey buildings, for example.
Well, yes, the issue of housing, as you alluded to, is not simple. There's a lot of people to talk to. There's a lot of collaborations. For example, if you want cities to lift up some of the development costs, you got to figure out a way that they can get revenue elsewhere. So that would be part of the equation. But as you said, it requires a systematic approach to it. We've chosen in the past to work on demand. So like create the first home savings account, increase the amount that you can get from your retirement savings account. All of this is working on the demand. We need to work on the supply, as you said, and it's not easy work. You need to get people across the table and figure out concession because, as I said, if you want cities to do permitting faster, lift up some of the development costs, you got to help them out in that discussion.
I guess the paradox here, though, we're saying too much money is just being sucked up by the housing sector. But if we spend vast amounts on building housing in the short term, we're not fixing that problem.
Yeah, you're it's a bit of a catch-22. We need to work on things that are not necessarily throwing money at the problem. Mm-hmm. So again, try to work on the regulation, do improvements wherever you can, because as we saw during the pandemic, construction peaked at a level that we never saw historically for a short period of time in late 2021, if memory serves right. But along with it came a significant increasing in price in residential construction, and it even spilled over into non-residential construction. So as you said, the construction industries seems to be at capacity, meaning that if we're throwing money at it, there's a risk of pricing increasing. And of course, the less popular discussion is either you work on the supply or you decrease the demand. Decreasing the demand, the lever that we have is population growth. So that's part of the discussion as well if you look at housing.
Is it time just for governments to say, we're just going to build the housing? The private sector just can't accomplish this?
Probably for affordable rental units, there's a discussion to be had that the government could step in. The question always is, are you going to get the efficiency gains to make sure that you build at a lower cost because you don't have the profit component? That's still needs to be figured out, because usually, as you know, and as most Canadians know, when government gets involved, there's large processes. And keep in mind what we have in Canada, we have a lot of small contractor businesses, so which are pretty agile and flexible. So the question is, if you make a big player as a government, will it be able to compete? Maybe it will. That's an avenue worth pursuing for affordable housing for sure.
Do we need to, I mean, Europeans in many cases live in smaller spaces. Do we need to accept, your house doesn't need to be that big?
Yeah, and we're seeing it already in the numbers. We used to build around 50% of what we built was detached homes. Now it's closer to 20-25%. So there's going to be even more scarcity for detached homes, especially in larger city. But it also, as you alluded to, it means that we're going to the multi-units. Usually those units are a bit smaller in terms of their footprint. So there's consideration there, of course. If you don't want the economy to be house poor, you need to reduce the sizing of housing.
David, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for inviting me.
David-Alexandre Brassard, Chief Economist at CPA Canada.